Hi everyone, my name is Tamara and this is episode 23 of the Caffeinated Craft Mamas podcast. My podcast is all about my knitting, crocheting, and bookish life in Southwest Missouri, where I live with my partner Richard, our 3 kids, and our dog. How are you all? It has been a month since I've recorded. I have 4 FOs, including a giant one that I'm extremely proud of. I have several whips to talk about, which are mostly Christmas presents. I have a couple books to talk about, and I also thought we would do a stash tour. We talked about this in the last episode a little bit, but I went through and pulled all my sweaters, quantities worth of yarn, and I want to go through and let you know kind of what I have planned for each of those. Obviously, they are subject to change, but I have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to do with all of them. That is my goal for next year, to knit through all of those so I don't have quite such a large stash. I'm drinking coffee this morning in my Hello Pumpkin mug. This is one of my favorite mugs that I have. I'm not really sure why. I just love the shape of it, and I don't know, it's just one of my favorites. I reach for it every time it's clean. Okay, so we'll do some admin stuff and then we'll do a what am I wearing. First of all, if you would like to follow me on social media, please feel free to do so. I'm really only active over on Instagram, but you can follow me over there at the caffeinated_craft_mama. I post over there when I have time. You guys all know that I have a busy life and I get to it when I get to it. So I haven't been posting over there much, but I try to when I can. Also, if you would like to know when future videos are available, please feel free to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, let me know that I'm doing okay. Obviously, I'm gonna record them either way, but it's good to know that everybody's enjoying what I'm putting out. Okay, so what am I wearing? If you are a longtime follower of this podcast, you've seen this shawl multiple times, but I love it so much, so I'm going to show it again. This is my Free or Fade shawl by Andrea Mowry. I knit this shawl 2 years ago for my sister's wedding. I actually started it during COVID and then finished it for my sister's wedding because her wedding colors were orange and purple. So it's, I believe, eggplant from Knit Pick Stroll, pumpkin from Knit Pick Stroll, and in the middle is Bad Wolf Girl Studios, Silence in the Library. We all know I love Meg's yarn. And honestly, this shawl just gives me all those cozy fall vibes. I love the warm colors, and I just love to wear it. So, tie that back up. I thought it matched my shirt today too. So, this is like our last warm day. We're supposed to get a pretty big cold front coming through. Saturday is the start of deer season. I am a hunter. That's how I feed my family through the year. And Saturday's high is supposed to be like 38. Wah, wah. It's also supposed to snow, which wouldn't be so bad if I wasn't sitting 10 feet in the air in a deer stand. Even with my marshmallow suit on, I'm usually freezing to death. So hopefully I will see something first day within like the first hour, so I don't have to sit out there for very long. But I do have a pair of hand knit socks that I'm planning to wear that will hopefully keep my feet warm. We'll talk about that in a minute. The first thing I want to talk about in finished objects, and I don't have it with me because I've already given it to him. I'll put a picture up here. I finished the Bangles blanket, y'all. I did it. It's done. I am so happy to have this blanket done. I started this back in end of January, beginning of February for my brother-in-law for his birthday, and it ended up being a much larger project than I was expecting, partly because how I do my corner to corner crochet is I chain 6 to start out. I chain 6, double crochet into the 3rd chain from the knot, double crochet. Well, the pattern called for half double crochets and only a chain 2. So I started out doing that and got super confused and kept going back to my double crochets. So I ended up just ripping it out and deciding to do all double crochets. So the blanket ended up being much larger than originally stated in the pattern. It covered the top of my queen bed, side to side, as you can see in the photo. But he loved it. I gave it to him Sunday when we all got together for Sunday brunch, and he was extremely happy to have it, and he got to have it when he watched the Bengals game on Sunday, so that was really cool. The next thing I want to talk about is my Lacy Day cardigan. This is by Lucy at Lucy Hand Stitched. This is a test knit that I did for her. It's just an oversized, cozy cardigan. I'll pop a photo in here of me wearing it. It's a fun pattern. It's enough of a repeat that you really have to pay attention, but it's also one that you can kind of read your knitting. So I really enjoyed knitting this. It's actually going to go to my mom. She absolutely loved it, and just kept commenting on it and saying how pretty it was, so I told her she could have it. So I got that done. I still have to submit my notes and final photos, but I should be able to have those done in the next day or two. Okay, next I have a pair of socks. I have two pairs of socks this time. These are my sister's Christmas socks. And hang on, grab my blocker here. Oops, sitting on my shawl. I'm a hot mess, y'all, but if you have seen this podcast before, know that that's pretty typical for me. Okay, there we go. Much easier to see. So the colorway that I knit, this is the Grinch colorway from Bad Wolf Girl Studios. You all know she features in this podcast quite frequently. So I just love these. This is my second pair of Christmas socks. I have 5 pairs total that I'm hoping to knit. I really wanted to have them all knit by December 1st, but I'm not thinking that's quite going to happen. You'll see why when we get to whips, but I'm getting there. So I'm pretty proud of these. I think she'll really enjoy them. They are a 60 stitch sock. So I start 20 stitches at the toe, increase to 60. This is a Fish Lips Kiss heel. So I have her little foot cut out that I stuck in there until it was time to put in the heel. And then I tried to make the leg as long as the body of the foot, whatever this is called. I don't know the technical terms. So yeah, I am excited to gift those to her. They will probably go in her advent calendar. The last couple of years, my mom and sister and I have all made advent calendars for each other. And they're just little things, chapstick, hand lotion, but their socks always go in their advent calendars. So yeah, I've got 2 pairs done, Richard's and Alicia's. All right, I have one more pair of socks to talk about. These are my fall festival socks is what I'm calling them. And the reason I am calling them that is I think that was the name of this skein. It was from my 2021 Halloween advent calendar. So this is what it looks like. And this is a 20 stitch toe increased to a 56 stitch body. I did a heel flap and gusset, as I tend to do for myself, and then I did a really long leg. These are the socks I am hoping to wear when I go hunting this weekend. Typically what I do, because again it's going to be really cold, is I wear a pair of hand knit socks, and then I wear a pair of Richard's commercial socks over them in my boots, because my feet get super cold. So I always have a pair of hand knits on and then another pair on under them. So yeah, I think they turned out really pretty. I'm hoping they will bring me good luck. We will see. Okay. So those are all of my FOs. I feel like we flew through that, but I say that every single podcast. So we're going to move on to whips. So here's the deal. Whips are mostly going to be these random tiny projects that I'm working on because I am fully in Christmas making mode. I'm not making huge projects this year for a lot of people, but I have a lot of small projects I'm making for people. So the first project, I already have 6 of them done. I need to make approximately 25 to 30 washcloths. So or not washcloth, like dishcloths, whatever. So I decided, because I just finished that giant corner to corner blanket, and you know, you need more corner to corner in your life, just to make corner to corner dish towels or dishcloths. I haven't woven in the ends yet, and I have just a big bag of random, like peaches and cream, let's see, what's this one called? Crafter's Secret from Hobby Lobby, whatever I can get my hands on cotton that I use for these. I just grab them when they're on sale and then make them throughout the year. So here's one. Here's another one. I've made 2 Christmas ones. I have a little bit more of this Christmas yarn. I have a blue one. And then I have this pretty tan with these pretty blips of color. I have not field tested one of these yet, meaning I have not used one for myself. Typically I like to knit these, but I am much faster at crocheting than I am knitting, and I don't currently have a crochet pattern going on, so my hand can handle making these. My goal is to make about 3 of these a day. I usually give 2 of these to all of my kids' teachers, and then I will slip some in advent calendars or give some to family, actually to go with the next thing that I'm going to talk about. So yeah, those are the random dishcloths. Okay, now we're going to talk about, what's the name? Handy Knit Cloth Pattern by Peaches and Cream. So I found this on Pinterest, actually, I believe. And it is just a hanging dish towel. There's one. So I crocheted my Nana, my cookie Nana, a couple of these a few years ago. And she stopped me when we were over there a month or 2 ago and told me that she wanted some more and requested a color. I had made her last ones in red, but she requested kind of this taupey color because she said that it hides dirt better than the red. She does a lot of baking, and flour would show up on the red really easily. So there's another one that I've made. I have plans to make her 2 more of these, so she'll have 4 total. And then I have one on the needles for my grandma. Not my Nana, my grandma, 2 different people. Can't really see the pattern on this one as well, but I love these bright colors, and her kitchen is in light blue, so I thought that would be fun for her to hang. A couple of years ago, I say a couple, goodness, 4 or 5 years ago now, I crocheted her a retro granny striped Christmas towel. So it's like got a Christmas tree that you do the granny stitch across. It turned out really neat. I'll see if I can pop a picture in here. I think I have one. If not, I'll pull out the pattern and take a picture of the pattern itself. And she hangs it up every year at Christmas time, so I thought she would enjoy having 1 or 2 of these towels to hang during the year when it's not Christmas time. So yeah, I've got probably 4 more of those to make, if not a few more. They take me probably 2 or 3 days to make if I just sit down and work on them pretty consistently. So I'm hoping to have several of those finished. Okay. Oh, next up we're going to talk about my Thanksgiving socks. So, sad news, y'all. Okay, so my local yarn store here in Springfield closed 2 or 3 months ago. We also had a yarn store in Branson, which is about an hour south of me. Well, they closed last month. Wah wah. I know. So my local yarn store that's closest to me now, I believe, is in St. Louis. That's 3 hours from where I am. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, the reason I say that is because this yarn is called Let's Talk Turkey, and it's by that yarn store that just closed. I mean, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love it. So I paired this with some Knit Picks Stroll, just in pumpkin. And this is as far as I've gotten, but these are my Thanksgiving socks. So every year on Thanksgiving, my mom and my sister and I do a local 5K. It's called the Turkey Trot. And you pay for your entry to the 5K, and then you also bring food for a local food pantry. So we're doing that this year, just like we always do, and I'm hoping to wear my Let's Talk Turkey socks when we go, because typically after that I wear the race t-shirt for the rest of the day. So I don't have any fun hand knits because I always wear my race t-shirt instead of a sweater. And it's hit or miss here whether it's going to be warm or cold. Some years it's in the 70s, other years it's in the 30s. You just never know which way it's going to go around here. So I'm looking forward to having these to wear. Okay, what's my next whip? Okay, so I haven't actually cast this on yet, but the swatch is upstairs drying. So I got contacted by Alex over, and I cannot say her Instagram handle to save my life, so I'll just put it right here. I did a test knit for her not too long ago with a sweater, and she messaged me and asked me if I'd be interested in testing a hat for her. So the hat is called the Hedda hat, and it is, old German maybe for how you say Hedwig. It's a Harry Potter inspired hat. Jade is obsessed. Anyone who knows her right now knows that Harry Potter is life. And so she picked out green, and it's Knit Picks Hawthorne, and the name of it is Serpent. She has dubbed herself a Slytherin, and so she went as a Slytherin for Halloween. I'll pop a quick photo of her in here. And so I thought this would be fun to wear with the scarf that went with her Halloween costume. It should be a really pretty hat. So I have the swatch upstairs drying, and I'm hoping to cast that on after I get done recording this. It's living in my Lord of the Rings bag that I love so much. Lila Styles, love her stuff. Okay, the next two whips I want to talk about, but I need to put a warning out here first. Mommy, if you are watching this, and this is before Christmas 2022, please look away until I tell you you can look back. These are your gifts, and I don't want you to see them. Okay, first I have my mom's Christmas socks living in my other Lila Styles bag, my Hermione Granger bag. This yarn is just bringing me so much joy, and I love it, even though I should not have done these two at a time. I got the wild hair thinking, hey, I will knit these two at a time. I haven't knit two at a time socks in forever. I remember now why I don't knit two at a time socks. I would probably have one sock already to the heel turn because I'm having to switch yarn, back and forth between each sock. So it's taking up a lot more of my time rather than just knitting in a circle. Okay, so this yarn is I Knit 2 Purl 2, and the name of the yarn is Swirly Twirly Gumdrops, and I just love this yarn so much. It is just all these bright, fun colors, which is very much my mom. And I paired it with Cascade Heritage in Christmas Red for the toe, and I'll do the cuffs as well in the red. Goodness, I'm all tangled. Hang on. See, this is why I don't like two at a time socks anymore. I used to only knit two at a time socks, but. So here they are. Aren't they fun? I just love that. That's so fun. And I think she's gonna really love these. I'm planning on doing a heel flap and gusset with these. I will probably make the leg a little shorter than I normally do and give her a little bit of a longer cuff. I'm hoping to get a shorty pair for myself out of these, so we shall see. If I can't, I can't, but I'm hoping to have enough. I had 108 grams in the ball, so I'm hoping that means that I will be able to get another pair out. We shall see. Okay, so there's one of my mother's gifts. Almost done, Mom. Okay, the other gift for my mom that I'm working on is a muscle burrow hat, and I've barely gotten it started. So excuse me. My mom has this really pretty coat, and it's this mauvey purple color, and it is really hard to match yarn to, or like colors to. We've tried to find her yarn in a couple different places. So I got this yarn last year in the Woolly Wishes sock swap that I did, and I've used it before for a pair of socks, and I had enough left. So there's the yarn. The cake is a mess, I'm sorry. And that kind of dark mauvey purple matches her coat exactly. So this is all I have started. I got the crocheted pinhole cast on done, and this is it with my little peppermint chocolate narwhal. So I have not been working on this hat, mostly because I've noticed that I knit a lot with my mother in the vicinity of me, and so I was trying to get her projects knit, and it's hard to knit those when I'm with her all the time. So I'm having to knit these when she's not around. Okay, Mom, you can look back now. They're all put up. So yeah, I think that's all my whips. I am just in full Christmas making mode. So we're gonna talk now about stash, which is this gigantic pile next to me. I'll take a picture of it so I can pop it in here. It's embarrassing, y'all, how much yarn I have. I went to order yarn for a hat for Richard last night, and Hawthorne was having, Knit Picks was having a sale on Hawthorne, and I persevered. I did not order myself any. It was a close thing because Richard was like encouraging me to order some, but I'm trying really hard to do what Gretchen's been doing and to have a project in mind when I buy the yarn. And so I went through my Ravelry library, and I went through some patterns that I'm kind of keeping track of on Instagram, and I really didn't have anything that like screamed that I needed this Hawthorne yarn, so I did not buy it. I was very proud of myself. Okay, so as I said at the beginning of the video, these are subject to change, but I'm hoping all of these will turn into what I'm talking about. So the first one is buried at the bottom. Hang on. Okay. Okay, my first plan is another pajama cardigan. I test knit this pattern for Judy over at the Autumn Acorn 2 years ago, I believe. I originally knit it with Yarn Bee Sleek and Soft DK, and I have literally worn the sweater every day. This is my most reached for cardigan. I wear it all the time, and the poor thing is falling apart. Mostly I just think it's because I use cheap yarn. It was what I could afford at the time. I am not bashing acrylic or cheap yarn. I'm all about that. But I specifically ordered this yarn with that pattern in mind. And this is Cascade 220 Superwash. It is 100% wool. It is in colorway 1913. It's like this dark gray. I wear a lot of gray. I wear a lot of black. So this is kind of one of those cardigans that can go over anything. I can wear it with leggings. I can wear it with jeans. I can dress it up and make it look nice when I go back to work. It's just one of those all around cardigans that you can just grab. So yeah, that is the first stash. And I do not have enough project bags for the amount of yarn that I have in the stash. So yes, I do keep them in Walmart bags. And then I write the pattern I'm planning on doing and stick it in the bag. If I need anything else for that project, I will also stick that in the bag or write that on the note to stick in the bag to remind myself if I need more yarn or I need needles or I have to buy the pattern still. So that way if I'm hunting through stash and looking for a new project, I know what is required to start that project. Okay. Up next is actually a project for William. So I received this book last year for Christmas, and in it, right here, is a pattern by Meg of Bad Wolf Girl Studios. It is a Star Wars pattern. So I already own Meg's mini Dino Roar pattern. I've knit it for William before. And so I got the bright idea to take the numbers from her Dino Roar pattern and the charts from her Star Wars sweater and knit William a Baby Yoda sweater. So that will be happening. I have all the yarn in here. I'm going to use this Pound of Love and kind of this asphalt color. And then I have green for Yoda. I also have some blue thrown in here for any, I don't know, fun stuff. Because there's, in the Dino Roar pattern, there's stuff at the top and stuff at the bottom. So I may change that out for something in the book if I can find something. I haven't really played around with it much, but that is the plan. I would love for William and I to have matching Star Wars sweaters. That would make my life like so great. Because my girls aren't Star Warsy. Like, they'll watch it, but they're like not Star Warsy like William and I are. Like, if he's sick and not feeling good, we will turn on like The Force Awakens, and that's like his movie. He'll just lay on the couch and watch that. So, okay, so that's the second one. I'm trying to go in order here too, so I will probably have to do some digging. Okay. So when the yarn shop closed here in town, I obviously went up there and bought everything that I could get my hands on. And I purchased some of this. So this is, what is it called? It is, there it is. Okay. It is I have no clue how to say this, so I'm just going to hold it up. It is 60% alpaca, 30% linen, and 10% Tucson silk. This gorgeous orchid color. She had 3 of these, and it's DK weight. And I have the Love Note pattern by Tin Can Knits, and so I think that this would just be a gorgeous Love Note sweater. So I have 3. The size that I want to knit calls for 870 yards, I believe, and I have over 1,000. So my plan, like I usually do, is I'll knit the yoke, I'll put the body on hold, knit the sleeves, and then put everything else into the body. But I just thought this was gorgeous. It's so soft. And I am planning on going back to work next year or the year after, kind of depending on school schedules and kids' schedules and all that stuff. So I am already envisioning this as a much loved work shirt. I will probably wear this a lot. So for those of you who don't know, I worked with the public school system here with their preschool program. So, and I loved my job. I miss it a lot. So I am actually kind of looking forward to going back. Even though I have been so blessed to be able to stay home, I am looking forward to going back and being with my kiddos. So, okay. Next is, okay. Another one that when I went to the shop and she told me she was closing, I got this on a really good discount. So I actually originally bought this yarn to do the wavy gravy test knit that I just did a while back, and it just wasn't working out for me the way that I was wanting it to knit up. So this is Plymouth, Hearthstone, and Evergreen. I guess I should start with that. It's just this beautiful evergreen color. It's 80% merino, 20% alpaca. Again, it's just like butter. So soft. I just want to like rub this on my face. So Elizabeth over at Elizabeth Margaret Knits created this sweater called Love Yourself, and I'll pop a photo in here. And then recently she announced that she will be rewriting this sweater. I originally didn't plan on knitting it, but now that she's doing a rewrite of it, and it's going to be more of an oversized, slouchy, boxy, not boxy, but a little bit more slouchy sweater, I 100% am planning on using this for that. I should have enough. I've got 4 of these in here. One of them has a little bit knit out of it, but I mean, just the little swatch that I did. So I am totally planning on knitting, knitting that sweater once it's rewritten. I've got 1,700 yards, so I should have enough, especially with my short little arms. Okay, well, I ran into that problem with the finished object that I just finished, the Lacy Day cardigan. The sleeves were going to be probably 4 or 5 inches too long. I ended up having to shorten up my rows, my increase rows, because you knit them from the cuff up, and I had to do my increases much more frequently to be able to put the sleeves on the cardigan because my arms are so short. It was kind of an interesting conversation to figure out how often I was going to have to do those, but we figured it out. Excuse me again. Oh, okay. The next one is actually not a sweater. It's right here, living in my sweet little peach bag. So I received this pattern. I think it was one of those that the designer was giving them away for free. And I downloaded it on Ravelry. Excuse me again. This is Nordic Sunrise by Margaret over at Whimsy North. And so I have a dilemma. I have 2 yarns. This one you guys have seen before. I knit my night market cardigan. This was the blips of color. This is Fangirl Fibers Winter in Volaris. Yes, it is a Court of Thorns and Roses yarn. It is one of my favorites that she's ever dyed. I love it to pieces, and it's gray, so can't help that. I have enough of this yarn to make this my bottom color. So that's probably what we're gonna do, because I still have to buy one more yarn. So this is going to be the bottom. Next will be Kimber's Cozy Creations and Whip It Out, which it'll go here. And then I'm gonna pop in another one of Kimber's yarns right here. It's called Loot Llama. Yeah, I still need to buy this yarn. Apparently, I think it's, I have no clue where it's from. The name, I think it's a video game. I'm not sure. And it will be the top color of this shawl. So I'm really excited to knit this. I think it's gonna be gorgeous and just be fun and cozy. So, but I've got my little note in here with the name of the pattern and what I still have left that I need. Okay, what's next? Next, we gotta turn the page. Oh, okay. Up next is a pattern by Meg of Bad Wolf Girl Studios. It is her pumpkin patch sweater. And I am planning on knitting this out of Yarn Bee Sleek and Soft Decay. I have a ton of scraps in here. So I have 3 of these, which will be the body of the sweater. This fun, I think it's called ox blood, kind of dark maroon color. And then I have a forest green. I have obviously leftovers from the sweater I just finished, this light gray. I have pumpkin orange left over from a sweater that my mom crocheted. I've got a ball, this ball, and one other one that's smaller. And then I also have leftovers from my pajama cardigan, which are the dark gray. Not 100% sure I will use all of these, but I wanted to hold on to all of them until I've sat down and mapped out the sweater, most likely using the color page that was provided, and figure out what colors are going to go where. I wasn't actually going to knit this sweater because here in Southwest Missouri, it's hit or miss on whether it's going to be cool or warm. This Halloween, it was like in the 30s, or not, listen to me, lows in the 30s, excuse me, highs in like the 50s, and it was cold enough to have sweaters and that kind of stuff. But some years were in the mid to upper 70s. But I have all the yarn, I have the pattern, and I will wear it some. I just won't wear it probably other than between Thanksgiving and Halloween. So, but it'll be a fun knit. It'll be probably a process knit, not really a product knit for me. Okay. What's next? Oh, okay. So I ordered this yarn a while back from yarn.com, not realizing that it's 100% wool, not 100% superwash wool. So it's a little scratchy. This is Lana's Light. It's from Barocco. It's a sport weight yarn. And I am planning on actually knitting the Queen of Diamonds pattern by Jovi of Hook Mountain Handmade. I'll pop a picture in here. I think this will be really pretty, especially if I knit it in this and then wear like a black t-shirt under it. I think it would be really nice. And this is another one of those that I'll put back for when I go back to work. It will be fun to wear. And I think as a cardigan, I'll be able to handle this better than if it was a, if it was a pullover. And I have 5 balls of this. The rest is upstairs, still in stash. But yeah, so that's the plan for that one. And I already have the pattern. I already have everything. Okay, next up. So 3 years ago, I bought all the yarn and the pattern for Meg's Santa's Secret Workshop or Santa's Workshop sweater. And I would never cast it on. I would never cast it on. And I couldn't figure out why. So I was texting Gretchen because I was like, listen, if I don't knit this sweater this year, I need to do something else with this yarn. Because obviously there's a reason I'm not knitting this sweater. And I finally figured out why. It's because, again, the weather here. It's hit or miss on Christmas Day or anywhere around Christmas. We can be from 70 to 30. You just never know. And I didn't want to knit a sweater that I could only wear from Thanksgiving to Christmas. Put all that effort into it and then it be too warm for me to wear it. So I hopped back on Meg's page and remembered that she had made the frozen fractal sock weight pattern. So this is the blue that I originally bought. It's Cascade Heritage. I think it's Royal Blue is the name of it. That I originally bought to do the Santa Secret sweater with. So then I just ordered Cascade Heritage in white. And I'm going to do the frozen fractal. I can wear that January, February, December. So anytime it's cold. I'll get a whole lot more wear out of this sweater and I feel a lot better about starting it. That's why I am pushing so hard to finish my Christmas presents early and why I wanted to have all my socks done by December 1st, because if I can get that done, I want to cast this on. That way I have something fun for me to work on that if I don't finish it by Christmas, no big deal. I can wear it in January and February. If I do finish it by Christmas, yay, I have a fun Christmas sweater. So, and it's living in my Christmas cupcakes bag that has also been living with all of this yarn. So this poor bag has barely gotten any life or light And it's so cute. It deserves to be out and about. So that's the plan for that. Okay, I think we only have 2 more. Okay, so this one is a hit or miss. It will be done. I just don't know if it will be done this year or not. So my mom's best friend, Holly, is in the middle of getting her doctorate. I'm super proud of her. But in the middle of that, she has had to stop most of her hobbies. So she cleaned out, when she moved, she cleaned out her craft room and gave Mom and I most of her craft stuff. So she had dyed this yarn, both of these, or all 3 of these, I say, at our local yarn shop when it was still open. She took a dye class and dyed these up. And I thought they were so pretty. So I thought, and it may not happen until after the new year, and that's okay, I am going to knit her a Age of Brass and Steam shawl out of these. So something that she can wear in the wintertime or keep in her office, because she's a professor at our local college, and wear and have it there and use the yarn that she worked so hard to dye and paid a lot of money to dye. So that is the plan for these. And I just love those colors. I think they'll be a lot of fun together. So it's living in my knitter, not a quitter bag. Oops. Can't see it if there's a handle in the way. I love this bag. Okay, I think this is our last one. Okay, so this yarn, some of this yarn has lived in my stash for a long time. It has gone to go be multiple things. The most recent thing that it was going to be was the Salem sweater by Tristan over at Dragon Horde Yarns. I do still plan on knitting that sweater. I'm actually thinking of trying to get like a really pretty maroon for it. I think it'd be really pretty in that. But I had originally bought this Swish DK and eggplant, and I needed to order some more. I didn't have quite enough for the Salem sweater, so I ordered some more. Obviously, there was a lot of time between the 2 dye lots. You put that sweater in the sun and you could 100% tell the dye lots apart. So the original plan was I was going to do the collar, the cuffs, and the bottom cuffs and the bottom hem all in the new dye lot that I had ordered and use this for the body of the sweater. So I started it. I loved knitting the pattern. The pattern's a lot of fun. I will enjoy knitting it. I could not handle the different dye lots. Anytime I put it in the sun, it bothered me. So I ripped it out. Then I was going to use it for a test knit recently, and it just wasn't quite gelling, so I used some different yarn. Then I found Wild Joy by Samantha Gurin, I think is how you say her last name. I'll pop her Instagram handle in here. She is the designer of the Petal Party top that I just finished not too long ago. So this will be the body color. And these 3 will be the contrast colors in that. Let's see if I can. Maybe. Nope. Let's try again. 1, 2, 3. There. Can you see them all together? And I think that is going to be, oops, just beautiful. I think these are all going to be a lot of fun to put together. And I can save the other dye lot of this one. I've got them separated for something else. So yeah, that is all of my sweaters quantities in stash. It's a lot, guys. And it's frustrating, or it was frustrating to me that I had so much beautiful yarn in stash and I wasn't using it. So that is what 2023 is going to be for me. It is going to be using up my stash, getting some gorgeous sweaters that I know are going to fit into my wardrobe and fit into my life and look awesome. So it's really a win-win all the way around. All right, so we are going to talk about one more thing. Well, really two more things, and then we'll go. So we're going to do a little bit of book talk. Obviously, I had 2 books coming out on Halloween that I was really excited about. The first one was by Juliet Cross. I'm going to grab my Kindle. Hang on. Oh. And I already had the book pre-ordered. And I had really high expectations for this book. And I was honestly a little sad. So this was her Stay a Spell series. You guys know I've talked about this multiple times. I love this series. Resting Witch Face was the newest book that came out, and I already knew I was going to have a hard time with it because it's a second chance romance, and that's not my jam. I just don't like those. But it's Juliet Cross, so I had to read it. And it's Jules and Reuben. I had to know. Gretchen and I were texting each other the entire time we were reading it. What I love about this series is that it constantly pulls in other characters from the old books. So you might be reading Evie's book, but you've still got characters from the other books being pulled in. Not so in this book. They were in it some, but a big portion of this book is overseas. They're over in England, in London. And so I missed the other characters being pulled in a lot more than I expected to. Don't get me wrong, it was a good book. Jules got her man. It was what she needed. I am really looking forward to the last book with Clara and Henry, but I was just a little bummed out because I missed my other characters. I missed Evie, I missed Isadora, I missed Lizzie and Violet. I just missed them. So it didn't quite scratch the itch that I needed it to, if that makes any sense. And the last book I want to talk about is another book that I was highly anticipating that kind of missed the mark for me. And that is Bloodshed by Molly Doyle. I loved her Masked Men series. I loved Scream for Us and Melt for Us. I read both those books. I have them on audio. How do I explain this? Okay, so this book is basically supposed to be between Scream for Us and Melt for Us. Let me say this before I go on. Please, 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 with this author, read your trigger warnings. I don't normally say that about authors that I read. She is probably the most out there author that I read, but please, please, please check her trigger warnings before you read her books. Okay, so back to the books. While we got backstory on the 3 guys, it was basically, part 1 was very choppy. I felt like we were skipping ahead in years, skipping ahead in years, skipping ahead in years. We were moving from character to character, and I was a little confused. The second part of the book was almost Scream for Us, just pasted in the middle of the book. There were 2 or 3 scenes where we got another character's perspective of the same scene that we had already read in Scream for Us. But for the most part, it was verbatim, the original novella. And then in part 3, I just felt like it was really rushed. I kind of wish she had taken part 2 out and extended part 3, where Quinn actually decides that she wants to be with these guys. And I get that there's a backstory to it, and she's building up for another book. And I will read the next book. I was just pretty disappointed with how this book went. That's the bummer about like build up from an author that you love so much about a new book coming out. You're like, oh, this new book's coming out. It's going to be great. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And then they just flop. And like, both of those books were a little that way for me, and I was pretty bummed. So I as several of you know, I'm a chronic rereader, so I went back and reread Don't Hex and Drive by Juliet Cross. Is probably one of my favorite books of all time. I love Isadora and Dev, and so I just went back and reread that book, and I probably will reread Wolf Gone Wild too, because I love Evie and Mateo, and I love their obsession with Star Wars. I wonder why. So yeah, let's see. Is there anything for life and junk? Halloween went great. The kids had a great time. William was really into Halloween this year. He really enjoyed it. He got third in a costume contest at my mom's school. We went to several trunk or treats around here. Churches around our area typically put on several trunk or treats. So we did, I think, 3. Excuse me. And that was plenty for us. I'm not one of those moms that are like, hey, I'll let you get a, pillowcase full of candy and eat it all in one night. All my kids' Halloween candy is on top of the fridge. They get 1 or 2 pieces a night. William has learned that he has a giant love for Snickers. He calls them Knickers, but he'll walk up to you and be like, Mommy, I get Knicker. So he really has learned that he likes the Snickers, which is hilarious. He's my chocolate eater. Oh, side note, I was really mean and I gave him a Tootsie Roll. He looked at me like I had just put a curse on his family, like I had just broken his heart by handing this boy a Tootsie Roll. It was so funny, because he's expecting it to be a chocolate bar, and while they are chocolate flavored, Tootsie Rolls are not the same as chocolate. And oh my goodness, I laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. He was mad at me, didn't talk to me for like 30 minutes, which for a 4-year-old with autism, that's a long time. But he is my chocolate eater, and him and Jade sat down after our trunk or treats and traded candy, because she's more my Skittles, Sour Patch Kids, lollipops. She will eat chocolate, but for the most part, she prefers the fruitier candy. So yeah, we did that. My grandma got a dog. I'll pop a picture in here. This is Bugsy. He is a Yorkshire and wire hair terrier mix. He's 3, I believe. So he is still getting settled in his new home, but for the most part, everything is going really well, and I'm really happy for her. We had to put her dog down in September, and Annie was a lot of companionship for her, so I was really excited that she was felt ready to get a new dog, and I think Bugsy's going to work out really well. So yeah, I think that's it. Like I've mentioned at the beginning, I plan on being in a deer stand this weekend and hopefully getting a deer. That's how I feed my family. We eat it like hamburger throughout the year. It helps save on our grocery bill, so I'm hoping to get 1, if not 2. Fingers crossed, we will see. So I will see you guys at the beginning of December, hopefully with a huge pile of finished objects and some more fun things to talk about. Drop me a book recommendation. I'm kind of in like this weird stage right now where I need some new books. Anything that is high fantasy. I usually need a happily ever after. Please don't give me those books that are like super sad. Colleen Hoover kills me. I can't. So nothing like that. But if you've got any feel-good books or high fantasy books or feel-good romance, drop me a comment down below, and I will see you guys next month. All right?